Hi, I just want to show you there's a flip through of the journal I made after my dad died this summer. This is kind of my interpretation of the story of his life. Here's it's an old book covered with one of his shirts, and I left the pocket. It's a white shirt. He almost always wore a white shirt to work, and in the pocket is a slide rule because he was an engineer and he used the slide rule. And so I just covered it with one of his shirts with some sewing on it. So here we go. This is the early years. He was born in Saskatchewan, and this little guy here is a picture of him. This is his mother. He was born in a place called Biggar, Saskatchewan, and the sign outside the town says New York is big, but this is bigger. And this is a picture of his three brothers. This is him. This is his older brother Hilton, who's still alive and is 93. This is his brother Ron, who died some years ago. This is actually a painting of a wheat harvesting machine in 1935. The Depression was hard on people in the, particularly in the prairies. But they all survived it. And this is a picture of his mom and dad. His dad, at the end of the Depression, his dad got a job with the bus company in Saskatoon. And so that's a picture of him in his new uniform. This is a picture in 1950 when my dad was at university. And he and and a few other guys did a survey of the effects of permafrost on buildings and structures in along the Mackenzie River. And here is a picture of a trapper that they met along there. You can see the furs hanging off there. It's a map of the Mackenzie River. And this is a Tim Holtz guy. But my dad actually played the bugle, so that's why that's there. He played the bugle. And this is bits and pieces of a couple of letters that my dad wrote to my mom, so that's actually his handwriting. And here's a picture of Christmas, about the same time frame. And you can see my grandparents, and this fellow here is my great-grandfather, John Meikle. And you can see my dad here. He is the only one not looking at the camera, and he's looking at my mother across the room. And here's their wedding picture. My dad's name was Norm Gregane, and this is my mother, Phyllis Turple. So this section's about family. So these are our this is mom and dad, and me. That's Laura, Carl, my brother Lance, and my youngest brother Brett. This is a picture of my dad with one of his grandchildren. He loved little kids. He was when he was able, he was always playing with them. Here is a picture of an old nursery rhyme book that my parents used to read to us. And this is my daughter when she was 2, and my dad, and they're playing dress up, and he's making faces. And then here's the rest of the clan here. So this is kind of a family tree of everybody who was my kids, my daughter's kids, my brothers and their children. Yeah, so. And here's a picture of my brother Lance's wedding in 1981. And it's a picture of me with my present husband, John, about 1982, 1983, something like that. So this is my dad's section on my dad's professional life. So he was a pulp and paper engineer. This is his graduation picture from his yearbook at university. He graduated from the University of Saskatchewan. This is a map of trees in Canada and which trees grow where. And this is a schematic of a pulp and paper mill, which is really what my dad did. He built, designed, and repaired pulp and paper mills. This is a bridge. The engineers, when they get an iron ring, and when they first got it, it was made from the iron from a bridge that collapsed because they wouldn't hire a professional engineer to do it. So this is an important bridge for engineers. It's actually a bridge in Quebec, where I live now. This is my dad's writing, and of course, trees. These are different towns in North America that my dad worked. Yeah, so. And this is different companies that he worked for. And his stamp, to prove that an engineer had done the work involved, they have a special certified stamp. So I have his stamps. And this is M.C. Escher's work, and was an artist that my dad actually liked. He wasn't big on things like that, but he did like that guy. And these are international places that my dad worked. He worked in China and Russia and Mexico and Indonesia, Sweden, all kinds of places. This is a formula. I don't know what it's for, because I don't know that kind of thing. And but it's my dad's handwriting. And this is just a Google image of a blueprint. This is a pulp and paper mill in Russia. Not particularly one that he worked on, but it was a Google image. And again, the back of that map that you saw, the first one. And this is the Sun Life building in Montreal. And my dad worked in that building for a while. And I seem to have missed some pages here, so I'm going to go back. I seem to have missed this page. Oh yeah, there we are. This is a picture of us when we were little kids, and these are maps of Canada and all the places that we lived in. Northern Ontario, Kapuskasing, Smooth Rock Falls, Iroquois Falls. We moved to Vancouver, and then we moved to Montreal, where we've lived most of my life. And where are we here? Okay, and there was his hobbies. So, oops, sorry. He loved sports. He played sports in high school and university. This is football in the time when he was playing football, and he was a member of a championship team called the Hilltops in Saskatchewan. And this is my brother Carl, who was both my brothers Carl and Lance were interested in football, and they played. And this is a photo of him. One team he was on, rugby or football or something, I don't know which. It was kind of fun to look at because it was hard to find him in that one. This is the things he did afterwards. Took up running in his 40s, and he ran every day for years and years and years and years. And later in his life, he took up golf, and he did that. And when he couldn't run anymore, he walked. And even when he couldn't walk by himself, he got a walker, and he would walk around his residence. He also did some curling. That's him in the hand knit sweater, which I believe my mother made for him. He was an avid photographer. This is a picture of him on that trip in 1950, and he was this was a graphic of a Nikon F, which he owned, and he documented our lives endlessly with slides and all kinds of things. But it's very hard to find a picture of him with the camera because we are pre-selfie days. So he was hardly in any of the photographs. It was just about all the rest of us. And then this is the last years of his life. He was in a residence, and people coming to visit. My brother and his kids came, and their kids, and the black and white above is a photograph of us celebrating his 90th birthday, which happened 10 days before he died. And I like this image of the bench, empty bench, and again an empty bench with a fir tree, which was so important to his life. Okay, thanks for looking.